Hello everyone, my name is Lucio and welcome to the show. Today, or recently, I read the Diamond Sutra. The Diamond Sutra is one of the core texts of Buddhism, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm trying to find a quote from the translator's preface, which is which it can be read in quote Shakyamuni Buddha spoke this sutra one afternoon after he had returned from his begging for his daily meal in one of the biggest cities of the ancient world. Instead of the shelter or a tree or a cave, he returned to a hut in a 100-acre preserve that had been donated to the Buddha's order by two of the city's wealthiest and most powerful men. In addition to his forest, the preserve included enough dwellings to house more than 1,000 of the Buddhist disciples. After going inside one such dwelling to put away his patched robe and stone bowl, the Buddha came back outside, washed his feet, and sat down on a wooden seat just beyond the door. His door. His disciples were standing in the dirt courtyard in front of his hut, and some came forward to pay their respects. Then they all sat down on their mats. After they were settled, the venerable Subhuti rose and asked the Buddha how we all can become Buddhists. The Diamond Sutra is the Buddha's answer. No one knows precisely when this took place, but if Chi Yi's classification of the Buddha Sutra is correct, it would have been within 10 years of 400 BC, or within a decade either way of when the Buddha was 65. The text largely concerns itself with the notions of self. There are several philosophers who have touched upon the ideas of self, such as Sam Harris and a few other philosophers that you can find in the Introduction to Philosophy textbook of your class or something similar along those lines. I believe in the Sartrean notion of a self. I believe it can be found. However, it is a long and difficult journey, but a journey which is not pointless or meaningless in totality. Later on in the book, there is an exchange between Subhuti and the Buddha, in which the Buddha asks, does a man who finds a river thinks to himself, alas, I have achieved the goal of finding the river? No, he simply admires the river for what it is and moves on. Moreover, in learnreligions.com, it says scholars believe the original text of the Diamond Sutra was written in India sometime in the 2nd century CE. Kumarajiva is believed to have made the first translation into Chinese in 401 CE, and the Kumarajiva text seems to be one of the most often translated into English. End quote. I will read some of the passages of the book, and if I have something to say, I will stop and comment on it. 1. Thus I have heard, quote, once the Bhagavan was dwelling near Shravasti at Anathapindada garden in the Jeddah forest, together with the full assembly of 1250 bhikshus and a great many fearless bodhisattvas. One day before noon, the Bhagavan put on his pasturobe and picked up his bowl and entered the capital of Shravasti for offerings. After begging for food in the city and eating his meals of rice, he returned from his daily round in the afternoon, put his robe and bowl away, washed his feet, and sat down on the appointed seat. After crossing his legs and adjusting his body, he turned his awareness to what was before him. A number of bhikshus then come up to where the Bhagavan was sitting. After touching their heads to his feet, they walked around him to the right 3 times and sat down to one side. So, in this text, one of the main goals a Buddha should strive for is to disparage themselves of any wealth or any sense of safety, not in the sense of looking for danger, but in the sense of seeking begging for food in order to, to prosper a more humble mind by realizing that food is scarce and thus, through the elimination of the possibility of food, allows one to appreciate the existence of food itself. 2. On this occasion, the Venerable Subhuti was also present in the assembly. Rising from his seat, he uncovered one shoulder, touched his right knee to the ground, pressing his palms together and bowing to the Buddha. He said, quote, "It is rare, Bhagavan, most rare indeed, Sagata, how the Tathagata, the Arhan, the fully enlightened one, blesses fearless Bodhisattvas with the best of blessings. And it is rare, Bhagavan, how the Tathagata, the Arhan, the fully enlightened one, entrusts fearless Bodhisattvas with the greatest of trust. Quote, even so, Bhagavan, if a noble son or daughter should set forth on the Bodhisattva path, how should they stand? How should they walk? How should they control their thoughts? End quote on page 2. So, in an existential sense, one is thrown into the world and must adapt to the world in which he is presented with. One, in order to feel safe and secure in the world, one needs to know where they are orientated in the world. If a person has no sense of orientation, then they become confused and lost throughout their journey. The Buddha told the Venerable Subhuti, well said, Subhuti, well said, so it is, Subhuti. It is as you say, the Tathagata blesses fearless Bodhisattvas with the best of blessings and entrusts fearless Bodhisattvas with the greatest of trust. You should therefore truly listen, Subhuti, and consider this well. I shall teach you how those who set forth on the Bodhisattva path should stand, and how they should walk, and how they should control their thoughts. Again, I repeat for emphasis of what I said. The Venerable Subhuti answered, maybe so, Bhagavan, and gave his full attention. Like most Buddhist texts, it claims or supposes a notion that to attach one's desire onto an object or onto people is a bad thing, because once you have done so, you have lost full ownership of yourself, and the thing you are attaching yourself to becomes the controlling factor of your life. I have conflicting thoughts about this. I know that through experience, attachment leads to suffering, as is said by the quote, attachment is the root of all suffering. But at the same time, it would be nice to be less alone and to not renounce yourself in the world. If you're looking into Buddhism or Zen Buddhism, or if you are interested in history and philosophy, then you should look not only just Western culture or civilization, but also of Eastern influence as well. For Nietzsche, who was influenced by Schopenhauer, Schopenhauer was influenced by certain Buddhist talks and sayings, became influential philosophers because of that. So that's all I have for you today. And thank you again for watching. Any amount of views is helpful, and it really makes me feel much better, and regardless of how many people watch this. And I'm doing this to find meaning, not to find views. If you if you found this interesting or helpful, then please share this with other people so that they can know the knowledge of Buddhism as well. I do meditate, not every day, although I would like to every day. Sometimes my emotions get the best of me, but I meditate at least an hour. I used to do more. Like I used to meditate for 6 hours as well, back when I had the time. Thank you, and have a good night.